The pressure of taking tests has always been a part of schooling, and that won't ever go away. But who likes being timed and graded by other tests in the process? Standardized testing does not only that, but frustrates many individuals along the way. It all started when schools got an idea to do a formal assessment of student achievement in 1838. It started out smoothly and became a great way to test knowledge. But then it transitioned into a who is smarter test. As said in 2020 by the National Education Association, overuse and conflation of achievement testing crystallized. People tend to use this system, but it's not always the best. It often leads to students disregarding the material completely and burning themselves out. I took these tests all the time when I was young, and I still take these tests. Each time I panic. I know tests are normal, but being timed and judged based on someone else's scores is awful. And it was no matter how I did on them. I can probably speak for most people. Regarding this, schools need to change their system of standardized testing, not only because it's timed and it judges your scores based on others, but it's a disappointing and unfair result that it gives. First, I'll talk about how the tests are timed. This results in students rushing through the test and not thoroughly reading through it. T. Callaghan, the author of The Effects of Standardized Testing, confirms this by examining two students. One has the timed and the other doesn't. The person with the timed test did better, and the person who didn't rushed through it and didn't make sense with his answers. Also, students don't take time to learn the material and only study strategy. As said by researchers of the discriminant validity of standardized testing, data was analyzed using magnitude-based inferences in discriminant analysis. The people who can study strategy are more likely to do better on the test than they are to actually know the material. Now, on to how the test judges from other tests and not just your own. When taking these, mentioned by the author of Defending Standardized Testing, they take everyone in consideration. That would be correct, but the tests take the top scores into consideration and make the rest suffer because of it. If you know strategy, you know how to beat the test. But if you don't, you get an awful score, or the score you weren't wanting to get. Then, said by procon.org, standardized tests are racist, classist, and sexist. They put an unnecessary burden on students that should never be there in the first place. Next, the test gives unrealistic expectations that lead people to fail. The creators of this test purposefully made these so you can fail. Eric.edu says, improved assessment will not reform education. The only thing it does is put students down to the point of tears and exhaustion. Also, said by David Peretz, author of The Increased Burden of Standardized Testing, students feel pressure to do good on standardized tests. But they don't do good. When that happens, everything goes wrong. Students shouldn't feel this way to be good in their schooling. They need to learn. To wrap up, schools need to change the way they do standardized testing. It's timed, which isn't good for people. It's judged by other scores, not your own, and it has disappointing and unfair results. Hopefully, one day there won't be any pressure to do these tests anymore.